right, this is the Disclaimer Podcast, episode 4, volume 2. Tonight we have on Irick.
Yes, sir.
Took me a little bit, but basically what I wanted to run through with you today is just some of the things, I guess, that have kind of put you in the position you are today. And I guess starting like with your background, where you came from, was real estate something you always wanted to do? Is it just something you fell into? And we'll just kind of start there.
Okay.
So
originally from China.
Right.
I lived there until I was 12. Then I got adopted to Grand Junction in 2010. So I've been here since July of 2010.
Right, okay.
Homeschooled, ran track at Fruita Monument High School, went to Mesa, and my junior year, I interned with a real estate agency in town. And at the end of the summer, I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
This is not for me. And then at the end of that, so would be 2018. So March of 2018, actually it was my sophomore year. So March of 2018, another lady, she called me. She said, hey, I know you interned with blah, blah.
Yeah.
Can you, our team's growing. You want to come help out? So I was like, sure.
Yeah.
So I went there in March of 2018. And towards the end of the year, I was like, you know what? I'm getting ready to graduate. And I think I could do this.
Yeah.
At the same time, I have family friends, and they were like, oh, we're looking at buying a house. So I jokingly said, what about me? They were like, well, if this one doesn't go well, you're out. So I said, okay, time to get my license. So then they were like, hey, we looked at this house, we didn't like it. If you're serious about getting your license, we'll use you. So I said, okay, give me a couple weeks. So signed up online, got my license,
Really?
And graduated in May of 2019 and enrolled into it.
That's wild. So did you even like study for it at all? You just went on and just got it?
I was getting 4 degrees at Mesa. So I took 183 credit hours in 4 years.
What were those 4 degrees? Like, what did that consist
Business
of?
management, entrepreneurship, marketing, culinary arts.
Wow.
So
Starting to add up.
I would go home, not read anything.
Yeah.
I would go through to the end, take the test only.
Yeah.
And I would study what I got wrong.
Really?
Yeah. So I built a cheat sheet of all the ones I got wrong, and I just studied the sheets.
Yeah.
And then failed it my first time, second time passed nationals, and the third time passed the state, and that was it. 5 weeks from the time I started the class to the time I passed. 5 weeks.
No way. Gosh, that's crazy. So at any point did you feel like aimless? I mean, maybe even it was before college, or maybe when you were maybe just going into college. Did you ever feel like you didn't know what you were going to do? Or was that like your whole like life before that?
I think my freshman, sophomore, even most of my junior year, I had no idea what I was going to do.
Yeah.
All I know was during school and working. Did I know I was going to go into real estate? No.
Yeah.
Even at the end of my junior year, I was like, my junior year, one of my good friend who was in much older, but it was like a different state, was like, Derek, when you graduate, you can come and work for me. So I was like, worst case, I have that as a backup plan.
Yeah. What did you say he did?
Oil and gas.
Oh, oil and gas.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, no, it's so weird how you fall into things without kind of knowing it.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads us into that question that I had like all in bold that I sent you. I was like, how do you know so many people? And like, was it all through real estate, or maybe in college were you in a bunch of like maybe bigger study groups, or like how did you just accumulate to know so many people so quickly?
I think started my junior year of high school.
Right.
Prior to that, I was pretty, I would say, held back.
Yeah.
Mom, if you see this, I'm sorry. But I think I was pretty shy. The language barrier, my English wasn't that good. So, and then my junior year is when I was a decent athlete at Fruita. So I had friends there on the track team, and then we meet other schools, made friends from there. And then college study groups. I was part of Young Life for a little bit, and then I was big part of FCA.
Okay.
So then from there, got into real estate, and then I went to any and every networking event I could find.
Yeah.
There are some times where I would go to beginning of one event, middle of the next, end of the third one, all in one night.
You paid your dues. Like, I feel like you were a guy that's just everywhere. Like, I know if I'm gonna go to some kind of event, you know, that there's gonna be people there that maybe I haven't seen in a while or whatever, and I'm like, I know you're already gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like you're just everywhere.
I try to make a point to be, because that's part of marketing.
Yeah.
And the more people you know, the better.
Yeah.
And trying to make your face seen at different places.
Exactly. There was a real estate agent I was talking to. It's my buddy's mom, and she's like, real estate's all about selling yourself. Would you agree with that, or do you think there's like more to it, as in, I guess, helping someone maybe find their forever home? That's a part of it. Like Sherry talks about that, stuff like that. But to how much of an extent do you think it's kind of like selling yourself?
I think when you first start, you have to convince whoever you're. Essentially, it's an interview. You have an interview period.
Yeah.
To convince your future clients or current clients that you are the guy for them. What can you do for them that other agents can't do? Is a competitive market. I think we have probably 1,000 agents in Mason County.
I was gonna jump into that too next.
And yeah, you know, only certain clients, amount of clients is out there. So it's a dogfight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. Like, it just seems like, even my buddy was like, dude, you would actually be really good at being a real estate agent. And that's what he told me. I was like, you know, I've thought about that, but in the back of my mind, I've always thought it just seems almost too washed out. Like, and I know it's not, because it really just comes down to the individual, maybe who you work with, because you're with Bray, right? So I don't know how much that comes into play. But I feel like, I don't know, and you probably wouldn't agree because you've already kind of found your groove in real estate, but do you feel like it's getting overpopulated?
I think it was overpopulated before I got in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
and which was 4 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
I think it was overpopulated 4 years ago, but...
There's just something about it. I almost feel like it's anywhere you go, you would probably see the same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Maybe people think it's like a cash grab or something, and they finally get into it and they're like, oh, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Just like kind of your first experience, you're like, whoa.
Yeah. It's what a lot of people see from outside, which for you is differently because you're on the inside, so you can see, you know, your mom, what she's grinding every day, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, Dwayne, Darren, they kind of see my side of it, but then you have people that don't see, they only see what's on social media, you know? They only see the success, you never see the hard work that put into it.
Exactly.
But it's a very rewarding business if you put the time in.
And the effort and everything. Do you think social media in real estate is a big thing to be a part of?
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't know if I agree with you or if I don't, or like what I'm getting at here. My thing is like I almost feel like it definitely helps put your face out there. It definitely helps maybe your listings, whatever you're putting out there. But at the same rate, it seems like the people that do the most networking, like face-to-face interaction, always seem to be one step ahead of people that maybe are just putting listings out on Facebook or Instagram, stuff like that.
Yeah, and you have to be socially active. That's either in person or over internet. Which I think I could do a lot better job on the internet, but I'm more a face-to-face type of person. I like to talk to people in person so they get to know me better. Instead of just being online where people only see one side and they don't know if they like you or not. So, but I have gotten clients from over social media.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I've always just kind of thought, I don't know, it just seems like maybe it's the overpopulated like part of my brain of the real estate crew here in Junction. I've always just kind of thought, I'm like, I don't know what makes it different. What makes a difference between one real estate agent posting something or a listing and another person, you know?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't really like catch the eye of a customer unless it's like this fancy house and it's just like, oh, this is like a drop dead gorgeous house and you have to have it. But that's why I kind of asked you about like, it's all about kind of selling yourself and what you can do that's kind of unique outside of what the other real estate agents do.
Yeah, and a lot of it is working with other agents.
Yeah.
Working with other agents that are that you know and you worked with before. That's a pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
Make the transaction so much easier.
Yeah.
So much easier. So more friends in the real estate, the better.
Yeah, that is true. And that's how it is for sales, just in general. I feel like you have to make those connections. So do you see yourself in Grand Junction forever? Do you see yourself maybe moving to a different country, different state, and staying in real estate? What's your like future plan?
I love Grand Junction. I think it has a lot of things to offer here.
Yeah.
Fits. I wish it was a little more rainy. I love cloudy weather.
Oh, I see. Like a Seattle type of thing.
Yeah, like Seattle type of thing. But this will always be home base.
Yeah.
Eventually, I want to get a second home somewhere
Yeah.
around the beach or in the mountains. But this is always home.
Yeah. See, I come from like a different background, and just like being born here, I'm just like, I have to get out of here every once in a while. And I don't know why, but I always come back too.
Yeah, a lot of people does that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure we have a lot of mutual friends that
Yeah.
grow up like we can't wait to get out, and then they get out, and they always move
Come
back.
back.
And realize Grand Junction is not that bad.
Yeah, and it's growing.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing because I mean it brings more business and everything.
Yeah, it's getting a little bigger. I wish Delta Airlines back in town, but you know.
Yeah, seriously, I feel like we could have a bigger airport.
Yeah.
You know, and they probably will eventually. Just things you can see. You can just see the attributes of the town just growing. Things that they're building. People moving in, retired people coming and moving from like California or whatever. Outside of real estate, and I guess outside of networking, I bet you like networking's always in the back of your mind and you're always there. But like, do you have any kind of like hobbies that you do outside of work that like you do on a regular basis?
Yeah. I enjoy a lot of outdoor activities.
Yeah.
I'm now getting to the older age,
Yeah.
4 years past college.
Yeah.
I wake up, my back hurts. So a group of my friends, my fantasy football friends, we stand up for a flag football team.
Oh, really? I actually heard that they're doing that league, and I was actually invited too. I don't know if you know. Do you know the Armendariz brothers?
I don't know.
Anyway, they're like, yeah, they're doing like, we do it every year. It's the flag football league, and I actually got invited to do it, and I was like, dude.
So it's through the city of Grand Junction.
Yeah.
Last Monday we had our first game. I never played football in my life, and just friends going out there having fun and being active.
Yeah.
Supposedly we play some semi-pro ballers out there. Yeah, we lost by 8. You know, that's pretty good for a bunch of old guys that don't play football.
Yeah. So it already started.
Yep.
How many games have you had?
One. Last week was our first one.
Oh, I see.
Labor Day Monday is our second game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then golf. Love golf.
Yeah,
I suck at golf, but
Yeah.
you know, I have fun. Volleyball. Volleyball's another great sport. I love it.
I thought when I went out there and saw you at the tournament, like I thought you were a golfer, like a golfer.
No.
So you're like me, like I just gotta go out there, but I don't know, I go once a week, so I'm
I
kind of
don't think I've broken 100.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm probably the same way though. Like I am not good.
I signed up for lessons starting next week.
Really?
Yep.
So you're actually you'll probably become pretty decent at it. It's gonna take time.
Yeah.
For
Golf
sure.
is hard. I don't practice either. Like I just go out and play.
Yeah.
There's no range. There's no practice days. I just go.
Yeah. So this brings us into something I wanted to touch on too. Just because we were talking about sports, on a competitive level, even in real estate, maybe even just golf, do you feel like you're more of a competitor? Like, do you you're always trying to be like kind of the top real estate agent or this or that? Or do you feel like you're more almost just like individually motivated? Like you just wake up and you just kind of worry about you and you're in your zone all the time?
I think I'm more individually motivated.
Yeah.
Because when you're looking at yourself as a competitor, you look at what other people has done. And,
yeah, so like,
everybody's in a different step of their life.
Yeah.
It may not be what it's meant to be. I would say I'm self-focused on myself, but friendly competition is good. I have some friends, we in the real estate business, always would be like, okay, whoever sells more houses this year, loser buys dinner type of thing. I have friends that's like, if you sell a house, you're buying coffee. If you sell a house, you're buying lunch. So, every couple weeks we'll have things like that to do. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So how is Bray? Like, are they? So do you report, or do you like go into is there like an office that you report at every day, or are you just kind of just on your own most of the time? And then, do you see a lot of the people that you work with a lot?
You work at the company, but the company does not require you to be there by yourself or go there and every day. Yeah. Essentially, you go there whenever you want. Yeah. Whatever hours you want. I
was gonna say, is there even like an office space that you guys have?
Yeah, so I have my own office. Most of the agents there have their own office. I spend a lot of time in the office, and a lot of our agents do spend a lot of time in the office. I can't work at home. I don't get anything done. Yeah. So I get up, go to the office.
I'm kind of the same way. Once I put my feet up, you're like, I am not wanting to do anything.
When I get home, I don't even want to get up.
Yeah. I've always had that same problem too. There was a part when I was working with Eco and I was having to work from home. It was COVID. Yeah. Because it put a twist in everything. And that was kind of another thing that I wanted to talk to you about too, was like, how did that affect you? Like that year, was it pretty rough? And is it still rough? Like you're still seeing ripples?
COVID changed the housing market. Yeah. Because 100%. How fast appreciation happened. Yeah. And how low interest rate got. Yep. I think that's part of the reason price went up so high is because interest rate was so low. Everybody was able to buy a house. Mm-hmm. And then you have a mass amount of buyers going into the buying pool. Yeah. And then you have 10 offers on the same house, 20. Some people even have 100 offers on a house, That's so wild. Then price has to driven higher. Yeah. Because more people are willing to pay for it. Mm-hmm. So now with the interest rate going higher, I know there's less buyers, but there are still a lot of buyers out there.
Does it change the way you sell?
Yes. So when COVID first happened was 2020. Which technically would be my first year because I graduated in May of 2019.
How old are you?
I'm now 20. I turned 27 last month.
So you're not that much older than me. I was gonna say because I'm 25 and I graduated in 2020 from Mesa. So
yeah, I graduated 2019 in Mesa in May. Took the summer and fallish off because I was working 2 jobs, getting all the degrees, so I didn't want to directly go into a job and start working full time. Yeah. It's probably around November, December, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm half year after I graduated, I need to start doing something. Yeah. So then March of 2020, I went to Bray and hung my license there, and then COVID hit.
That is so unfortunate.
I was thinking the career is gonna be ideal. You jump into it, start selling houses. Yeah. It was not the case. For a while, we couldn't even show houses because we were not classified as essential. Yeah. I think it took about 2 weeks, and then we were able to show houses. But then it turned to, we have to go virtual. We have to go in there, wear a mask, wear gloves, take videos or FaceTime clients. Yeah. That's where when 3D modeling of the house, Matterport, video, those marketing came out because people can virtually walk through the home without being there. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you use, I guess, photographers or people like that maybe use drones? Like, do you use those type of people a lot? Yep. Really frequently?
Every listing.
Really?
Yep.
That makes sense though. Because, I mean, that's where some people struggle too. And there's even been times like where, like Tanya, she's like, I just wish that I, could do that. Because, sometimes you just don't have enough listings going on to afford it or whatever, or not even want to worry about it, because, it'll eventually sell, so you kind of wait it out. But I was like, Tanya, I'll go out there with the drone. So I even went out there with the drone and I did a video for it and everything too. So I think it's really cool what some of those photographers and videographers can do.
Yep.
And that actually does change perspective online for online content for sure.
Yeah, because people can see it without being there.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's different. Especially if they know how to edit too on top of it.
Yeah, you find a good photographer that changes life. When people say the house is not what you see online versus in person, it is very true.
Yeah.
Like, when I see a house online, I know that's not what it looks like in person.
Yeah.
So I have clients and I was like, this is not what we're expecting. And I was like, yeah, I pretty much expected this.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the same thing just when people post selfies online, it's never what you expect. You're like, oh, like I thought that chick looked way different, You said you were adopted, so when you moved, did you pick up any like jobs that you were interested in before getting into real estate that you're like, I can make this work?
I went into culinary arts because like at the time going into it, I think my ACT English was like 17.
Right.
So I mean, I don't even know what the average score is, but I know it was pretty bad for the English section. Yeah. Everything else is okay. Writing was questionable.
Yeah. So but it makes sense.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I need to do something where I can actually pass.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, my dad passed away when I was a year and a half, and then my mom left me with my grandparents. So and then in the morning when I go to school, it would just be me. So I had to get up and essentially make my own breakfast and go to school. So I learned how to cook at a young age. So I said, you know what, I could do this. So I got into culinary arts, was working at a restaurant, and as I progressed from my sophomore, junior year of high school, working at the same restaurant until my sophomore, junior year of college, and going from dishwasher to serving to ordering to all sorts of positions, and realized that's not something I want to do.
Right.
You are there early in the morning, you're there late at night. Yeah. Real estate is the same way too, but
that is true. That is true.
So I was like, this is not what I want to do. There's too much overhead, too much liability. So I ruled out restaurant after a couple of years, and then I was, you know what, I'm gonna go into business management. Was going into getting my accounting.
Right.
After 2 classes, I was like, nah, I'm
not doing
this. Then finance, so I was like, yeah, this is doable, but do I really want to do that?
No.
So I kind of went into marketing, entrepreneurship, and then just the rest kind of worked out on its own. Yeah,
because it's just like, it's more like, I don't know, I can't say like reasonable, but I feel like it's more human nature to learn marketing, learn some of these, I wouldn't consider them, because I had a business management degree too.
Yeah.
And I think I wanted to go for finance, and I was like, when I took that first class, I was like, no way, like I am not going to do that. And then accounting was like my first C+ almost like ever in my life. Like I hardly even got B's, and so it humbled me, I was like, oh my gosh, why can't I figure this out? Then I went and took managerial accounting, and I was like, all right, this is a little easier. I don't know why it was easier for me, but I definitely knew. I was like, I would never even attempt,
Now looking back, I'm so glad I didn't do accounting, because the amount of work my accountant puts in just for taxes, I'm like, oh my gosh.
I mean, I feel like once you get tax season over and done with, you can kind of,
relax a little bit.
But once it starts ramping back up, it is something that I probably wouldn't want to get into either. So I have a bunch of friends actually that are from different countries. Like I have friends from Canada, Venezuela. Did you ever, when you were learning English, did you feel like you were really behind when you made that transition And like, did you have a problem, I guess, with like being understood? Like, did it like hurt you anyway, like mentally, like kind of like challenge you?
So my mother was my teacher all through high school. So we butt heads all the time because I would have to read out loud to practice pronouncing things and so on. In my mind, I said the right thing.
Yeah.
But she said, no, you repeat the word. I was like, I said the same thing. Looking back, if I went to public school, I wouldn't got the one-on-one attention that I personally needed.
Right.
So I'm very thankful that my mother kept me home, went through, and kind of did the one-on-one so my English can be better and be normal.
Yeah. When you were like out in public, did you feel like almost a sense of anxiety?
That's probably why from then to junior year of high school, I really didn't talk to anybody. It was just...
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was just myself. I was in my own shell because some of the stuff I was like, I don't even know what they're saying.
Yeah.
My eighth grade year of basketball, my coach would have to draw me on the whiteboard and show me where to go.
Yeah.
Couldn't understand a thing. All I know is pass the ball. Get the ball, pass the ball. That's it.
Yeah.
And where to run. That's how I went through basketball season.
I admire stuff like that. Like, I think it's so crazy because my Venezuelan buddies did the same thing. You know, they're coming from a whole different, like, just culture. And you come to the U.S. and English is, they say, is the hardest to learn.
Probably.
I don't know if it's true or not.
I think, in my opinion, I think Mandarin is harder.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I've never even challenged myself to really learn a new, I mean, besides taking Spanish 1 and 2 in high school, you know? But, like, it's just like we have so many different words that mean the same, sound the same, or, you know, mean the same thing.
Yeah, a lot of stuff doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know? Like boxes, oxen. Why?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Why?
And it's just like small things like I would never really recognize because I was just raised, you know, speaking English. But when I have like heard some of the stories that my buddies talk about, just it makes some of the stories that they like tell me, it becomes so much more funny because now they can look back and laugh about it because at that moment they were like feeling that sense of anxiety and like, you know, they were worried about being misunderstood all the time. But now they can look back and laugh about like stupid stories like that because they didn't really understand what was going on. But
people, we probably same way where, you know, nobody's understanding us because we have a heavy accent or we're pronouncing words wrong, and then we don't want to get made fun of. You know, it does happen.
Yeah.
I would pronounce the words wrong, and my friends be like, "What did you say? Can you say that again?"
Yeah. No, and I just hate people that are like that, especially when you know that person maybe is not from the country or is learning.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like don't press that person. Like
we're trying.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that is kind of a cool and like unique background in the fact that at the end of it all, you became a real estate agent.
And to from literally speaking to nobody in my own shell.
No English.
And to be doing a job that I have to talk to people every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how it all worked out.
Yeah, I mean, you went from 0 to 100 for sure. But I did want to kind of talk a little bit about, we were already kind of on the topic about being kind of like misunderstood. I was watching this podcast and it was really moving actually. He was like, the question was to the guest was like, when it comes to people that know you or people that know of you, what is something that you don't mind them, I guess, understanding about you? And his answer was like being misunderstood. And I thought it was really powerful. And it was weird that we were talking about it because a lot of people don't know how to be misunderstood or maybe not comfortable with it. And I feel like that was like your whole background. So it was really weird that we were just talking about that. So when you get into real estate and, you know, you're going through the process of like learning and you're probably still learning.
Oh yeah,
to every day. Yeah. Because you're dealing with new people all the time.
Every deal is a little different. You learn something new almost every day.
Yeah.
New people, new properties, new every house is different. Somebody will find new problems. Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what makes you better. Just learning, and you have more to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like that it was like really like powerful, because a lot of people are so uncomfortable about being misunderstood, and sometimes like you just have to like take a step back and be okay.
Yeah.
That maybe you put in a little extra effort than somebody else that's a real estate agent, and you put your focus maybe in more face-to-face interaction over social media or something, and everybody's different, but it's okay to like be different in your own way.
And nobody's perfect. I'm not a perfect real estate agent. I have had misunderstandings with friends, with clients, and just miscommunication does happen. But at the end of the day, a real estate transaction should not ruin your friendship or family or anything. At the end of the day, it's real estate. You can always sell another house, you always get another client, but the friend that you lose through it is not worth it.
Yeah. So do you have, this is a good one to end on, because I have heard this question a lot, different answers. Do you think doing business with family or friends is a bad or good thing?
I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
I think it's I try to treat all my clients the same way.
Yeah.
Everybody's the same way. However, when it comes to friends, family, you tend to try most recently I just had a sale with my accountant, who's a great friend, and it's a unique property. The entire time I was worried because I was like, what if this is worth more than what it really is? What if it's less? What if I overprice? What if it sits in there and it doesn't sell? Every day that house sits there, the sellers are losing more money on it.
Yep.
Because they're moved out of it, they're paying mortgage on it, and it doesn't sell. They're paying more mortgage every day, more taxes, more HOA fees, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I would take multiple agents, schedule agents, go through it, get their feedback to see what the price should be, and then agree on a price. The seller's like, we like that price, and then going in, getting list the price, and make sure it's not too high, make sure it's not too low. It praises at the price, and so I would say it's a little more challenging.
Yeah, it's like you almost try harder, or maybe it's more of a weight on you when you're dealing with somebody that you actually know.
Because you don't want to ruin the friendship you have or the family relationship,
So do you try to avoid that? Or do you almost welcome it? Or is it just those instances where it's just like, they reach out to you and it just is what it is?
I welcome it because I'm a person, I like challenges. And I like to think I'm going to take the best care of them, just like other agents would.
Right.
I would like to think if they reach out to me, they trust me, they believe in me, and I'm gonna get the job done.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
I've always I'm kind of the same way as you. I think that I wouldn't dodge it by any means, but I also wouldn't say I wouldn't welcome it either. Just because I am so, I don't know, when it comes to like family and friends, like I've always have wanted to like savor my relationships and like do anything and everything I can to protect the people that are around me, that I love, care about,
I've had people came to me where they have family members that's also, they treat me like family.
Yeah.
So they also have family members that are real estate agents too. And I was like, hey, it will not hurt my feelings if they use them for real estate needs.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, no. We want to spread to everybody.
Right.
We want to use everybody we know type of thing. So, but yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm just one of those people where I have like my mom's heart. I have Tanya's heart, and she's just, sometimes it's like I get that emotional soft heart, and I'm just like, I don't know if this is the right move or the correct move. And I feel like I think way ahead too, instead of just staying in the moment. And so sometimes that kind of puts me in a tailspin too.
Yeah, I try not to get too emotionally involved, but sometimes you get situations and you're like, I can't believe this is happening,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had crazy deals where it's like down nobody knows anything about because
Yeah.
crazy things. And then I have deals where everybody knows.
Yeah.
You know? But I think it's important to find your reason behind it. Like, why do you do what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, like your
That's true.
podcast.
Yeah.
Why are you doing podcasts? Like, I know you enjoy it.
Mhm.
I know you like to get to know people better and
Yeah.
provide something other people can gain something from it.
Yeah.
And then eventually grow, maybe eventually be your full-time job.
Yeah.
You know, and serving people.
Yeah.
My why behind it is because I believe I can serve you the best out of everybody you know.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
And growing up, we didn't have much. Next year, actually, I want to go back to China, actually document the town I grew up in. The town I grew up in, we have no paved roads. We had no grocery store, no gas station. There's a bus that leaves at 5:30 and 6 in the morning and returns at 5:30 and 6 at night. If you miss the bus, you're stuck in town all day.
That's wild.
Yeah, no gas station, no hospital. School went to 5th grade. We didn't have much. Like, we had no indoor plumbing. We had no TV. I think my grandpa was the first guy in our town to get a TV.
Really?
And it was black and white.
Wow.
That would be 2006. 2006, 2007. No fridge, no nothing.
That's crazy.
We had to walk down probably a mile away to get water from the well and then carry it uphill another mile.
Oh my gosh. And you said you were there till you were 12? Is that what you said?
So I was with my grandparents until I was 7. And then I went to the orphanage from 7 until I was 12.
Oh, I see. That's just crazy to me. But that's like, it's such a different way of growing up. And I think that people take a lot of things for granted when you know, in the bigger picture, people don't really know people's backgrounds. People really don't know where people came from. And it seems like the people that didn't come from much, at the end of the day, they're always one step ahead because they just work that much harder.
Yep, because they have a why.
Exactly.
Like for me, I never want my kids to be homeless. Never want my kids to go hungry. I want my kids like, okay, I need this. There it is.
Yep.
You know, and I think that's important. That's essentially my why behind it. You don't know what people's motivation behind everything is, but yeah, I want to go back and document it. I'm sure the town has changed a lot, but just so when people ask me, they have a little more of a visual to go back and say, okay, this is the town, this is the house. Yeah,
and a little more just like self-awareness and stuff like that. Well, that's cool, dude. I appreciate having you on. Like that's gonna be a cool episode.
I remember. I think it was two years ago.
Yeah.
One of my friends, she's like, "Oh yeah, when he first met you, he thought you were a trust fund baby," and I was like, "No way." But
that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's so many misconceptions, and it seems like this town, there's people that at least grew up here, born here. And just like probably any other small town, it always seems like everybody's got to be in everybody's business. And, you know, I can't even go to the mall without seeing somebody that I know, or like I grew up with, went to school with, or whatever. And it's not like I know the amount of people that you do. I just been here my whole life, so you just kind of recognize faces even though you don't talk to them ever or whatever.
Some of my friends, they hate going out with me to lunch or dinner because we sit down, there's people walking by, hey Derek, hey Derek, hey Derek. So it's fun. I enjoy it because, you know, I'm a friendly person. I like everybody.
Yeah, and you're everywhere.
Trying to be.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Trying to be.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
We might have to run.